Boom. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the C Squared podcast. It's been a while since our last one. A lot of things have happened. We've learned the names of the next two candidates in line that qualified from the Grand Swiss. Some records were broken as well. We have the youngest, I believe, 2,500 perhaps in history. That is Faustino Oro. We'll talk about him and what he achieved in just a second as well. And the Grand Chess Tour, we'll touch upon that also and perhaps other topics as well. But Fabi, you're in Brazil right now. We should start, however, with the Grand Swiss and with the fact that you predicted well. Anish and Bluebaum did make it after the last round. Anish defeated Hans, huge game. We'll analyze that, in fact, in your next masterclass, Fabiano's masterclass. And of course, Bluebaum managed to defend with the white pieces. Sounds funny against Ali Reza, but he managed to defend and he made it. So I would say quite surprising. I mean, look, not going into the last one perhaps, but overall, Anish and Bluebaum, yeah, that's those are two names that were not on my bingo card.
Yeah, I mean,
Anish
okay,
perhaps, yes. So obviously,
Yeah.
Bluebaum is a huge surprise.
before the last round, it was not too shocking. I mean, the prediction was pretty in line with what you would probably see from any like model would probably predict that those were, with some degree of risk, the most probable top two. But it was still wide open, and okay, Vincent could have won his game. He had good winning chances. I mean, it was close.
That was a good game. Yes.
I definitely wouldn't say Anish is a surprise. Okay, he's played the candidates twice before. The first time I played the candidates, he did 2016. Kind of famously, where all the draw jokes started from. I think it's a bit unfair, the draw jokes, but okay, he did draw his games in the 2016 candidates, which is not a bad result. It's fine. It's not easy to remain undefeated in the candidates. In 2021, he had a good result. Of course, it wasn't really close to winning, but still, if you look at it not from the point of view of like a must-win tournament, then it was a pretty good result. 2020, 2021, I also played that year. That was the year that Jan Nepomniachtchi won. I think Anish did have theoretical chances to win the tournament until the penultimate round when he lost to Alexander Grishuk, and he was in a must-win situation. He had to beat Grishuk with black. He played the Bogo Indian, didn't work out. Not too surprising because winning with black is a huge challenge. But anyway, I don't see that as a surprise. Anish is, he might even say himself that he's not in his best years, right?
I think right now he's starting to get back to that. Obviously, he's had a slump. He's went from 2,800 to 2,730, I guess, at some point. Maybe 2,720 was his lowest, but right now he's getting back into it. It seems like he's able to once again find his groove and win important games, which I think it all comes down to. He won a few matches. He seems to be getting, or at least having right now, Hans's number.
Yeah, no, that last game was critical. I mean, I think we can, when we talk about the peak ratings of players, we also have to discuss the slight, or even more than slight deflation that's happened in general in chess ratings. And so, okay, he was, around 2,800. If we go back 10 years ago, everyone was rather higher rated, and he is, I think, in a pretty good position. If you compare to last year, he's number 7 in the world now, 2760 more or less. After the Singfield Cup last year, where I think he finished -3, he was probably not too happy with his play. And obviously in the last year, things have started to look much better for him. So that's not a surprise. Of course, the surprise is Bluebaum. It is a surprise. You can't call it anything else. I mean, he's a good player, but to consider him one of the favorites to get top 2, certainly not. Certainly, there's a chance, but it would be a low one. But I watched his video on Chess-Based India where he discussed his most of his games in some depth, and he had a very stable tournament. It really came down to this penultimate game against Vincent. Vincent can look back on that game with I would say, definitely
degree
some
of regret.
Yeah. I mean, he blundered knight takes g3. It's just a one-move blunder. It was a technically winning position. And even if it wasn't easily winning, it's still practically like you expect that usually things fall apart for the weaker side in this endgame because it's rook knight against rook knight, 3 against 2 with split pawns. These split pawns are really unfortunate. And if he hadn't blundered knight takes g3, he would have won most likely. He would have qualified most likely. So that penultimate round changed everything. Bluebaum he had an excellent start, and then his task near the end was just hold on, which he did, but it was a close one. Those last 2 games, even against Alireza, he wasn't in objective danger, but it was.
He was in practical danger. Were you surprised to see Alireza start with Dutch? Definitely not something that was on my radar. Obviously, we discussed before the game started. We sort of assumed maybe the King's Indian, but the Dutch was somewhat of a surprise.
Well, this is the question. How do you play for a win with black against a very strong player, especially one who is potentially quite happy with the draw? The King's Indian is one of those natural choices, but if you play the King's Indian, if it's not a surprise, I mean, what do? Your opponent can just play d takes e5 on move whatever it is, like e5, d takes e5, and it's just a forced draw. So you can't play e5 lines. Then you're playing very, very dubious King's Indian lines if you're not playing with e5. So, I mean, if white plays like classical knight f3 bishop b2, so you can't play the King's Indian. It's very difficult. You can play some e6 b6 stuff, but against someone who's very well prepared, like Matthias Bluebaum is, who knows his openings very well. I think Prague did choose something interesting to play for a win against him. He chose something involving, what was the opening? It was with d4 e6 and then c4 bishop b4 knight c3, and then he played f5, I think, something like this. But this was also a different situation in the tournament. Bluebaum was at that point maybe not happy with it, not single-mindedly looking for a draw. That's why he played knight c3. He could have played bishop d2, which are very drawish positions as well. So it's just a huge challenge. I mean, the Dutch, if you consider it a must-win game, and I think Alireza probably did, because he probably felt like someone's going to win, and it was a correct assumption. It could have been Anish, it could have been Vincent, it could have been Arjun, or it could have been some of the, like Misha, for example, just something like that, which happens. And he wanted to take fate in his own hands. It was a correct decision. He didn't get chances. I don't think Alireza can look back on the tournament and feel like he missed something. I mean, he had a good tournament and he fought hard. And he had a very good performance. The one regret was, I guess, his third round loss. But even after that, he won a lot of important games. Just didn't work out in the last 2 rounds when he had to win one of the games. It's just a very unforgiving format.